It happened in a flash, of one of those moments that begins like any ordinary television debate, yet ends up shaking the entire country. Viewers across America sat frozen, popcorn in hand, as the studio lights intensified and tension thickened in the air. Few anticipated that a simple exchange on live TV would spark one of the most unexpected and emotional moments of Senator John Kennedy's public career. Fewer still expected that his response, calm, steady, and disarmingly humane, would leave both the audience and his critics absolutely stunned. The confrontation unfolded on a Tuesday morning, during a heated discussion on The View. The topic had started mildly enough: regional identity, political culture, and the values that shaped America's diverse communities. But as the debate intensified, Whoopi Goldberg became visibly frustrated. Her tone sharpened, her body leaned forward, and her voice cut through the air with the sting that no one missed. "Senator," she said, her frustration boiling over, "maybe you should just go back to the Bayou." Gasps rippled across the studio. Even the co-hosts went silent, not because disagreements were unusual but because this time, the words felt deeply personal. The cameras zoomed in on Senator Kennedy, capturing every detail of his expression. But instead of anger, there was something else entirely: a stillness, a quiet, reflective pause, and then, a soft, unexpected smile. For a long moment, he didn't speak. He simply looked around, as if absorbing the tension in the room, and choosing deliberately not to return fire. Finally, in a voice that carried more weight than volume, he offered a response no one expected. "Whoopi," he said gently, "the Bayou is where I learn what it means to respect folks, even when we don't agree. It's where neighbors share what little they have, where people look out for each other, and where no matter how hard life gets, nobody is told they don't belong." If going back to the Bayou means going back to those values, a broken bar, well, I reckon that's something to be proud of. The studio erupted, not in chaos but in silence, the kind that presses into your chest. Even Whoopi blinked slowly, taken aback by the emotional honesty of his answer. Millions watching at home felt the same jolt. It wasn't a political comeback, it wasn't a clever insult, it was personal, heartfelt, disarming. What made Kennedy's response so powerful was not what he said but how he said it. Calm, polite, unshaken. He didn't lecture, he didn't retaliate. Instead, he opened a window into a life many Americans shared, a life of small towns, muddy rivers, old traditions, and families bound together not by wealth but by loyalty and warmth. But the moment wasn't over yet. Ana Navarro attempted to diffuse the tension with a joke. Joy Behar leaned forward, ready to pivot, but Kennedy continued it, calm, reflective, unstoppable now that the feelings were flowing. "You know," he said, "sometimes folks talk about the South like it's a punchline. But home isn't a punchline. Home is where your mother teaches you right from wrong, where your father tells you not to blame others when life gets tough. Home is where I learned to stand firm without being cruel." The words hung in the air like a lesson delivered to the nation. His tone remained gentle, but the message was unmistakably firm. Dignity doesn't require aggression. Viewers online did what viewers online do. They reacted instantly. Clips went viral within minutes. Comment sections exploded. Some defended Whoopi, insisting her words were misinterpreted. Others praised Kennedy's restraint, saying it was the most composed moment they had seen on television in years. But the most surprising reactions came from everyday Americans who felt seen, touched, or unexpectedly proud of where they came from. Producers backstage later revealed that even crew members felt emotional. A few said the moment reminded them of their own small hometowns, or the ones people sometimes mocked but that shaped them into who they were. And yet, something deeper happened off-camera. After the segment, while microphones clicked off and cameras powered down, Whoopi reportedly approached Senator Kennedy backstage. No dramatics, no spotlight, just a quiet conversation between two adults who realized the debate had gone further than either intended. Whatever was said remained private, but witnesses described it as respectful, calm, and surprisingly warm. What mattered most wasn't the argument but the understanding. By the next morning, News outlets across the country replayed Kennedy's response. Analysts described it as the unexpected calm in a storm, a masterclass in emotional discipline, and a reminder that politics doesn't have to be warfare. But for many Americans, the message hit closer to the heart. Where you come from isn't something to apologize for. It's something to carry with pride. Kennedy himself summarized it best during a later interview. "I can disagree with someone without degrading them," he said, "and I can love where I come from without asking anyone else to love it." That's the beauty of this country. We don't have to match, but we do have to respect. In a world overflowing with arguments, viral insults, and divisive rhetoric, those words felt like a breath of fresh air. A reminder that strength isn't always loud, that dignity isn't measured by how sharply you strike back, but by how wisely you hold your ground. And so, what started as a tense moment on live TV ultimately became something far more powerful, a nationwide lesson in respect, restraint, and the quiet courage of staying true to yourself.